We are still working. We are working around the clock, and we have hope. We are working around the clock to find people and bring them out safely, because that's what our rescue team tells us they are doing. They have hope, and we're standing with them. They are working tirelessly. They are passionate about this. They are dedicated to finding people in the rubble. So we stand with them, and we're going to give them all the support that they need to get the job done. We've been joined by teams from all over the state, and we have the best people for the job, and we have the right people for the job. The people who are here are highly skilled and trained. They are the ones that go all over the world whenever there's a trouble spot needing this kind of rescue. And they are using the skills and the tools to get this job done, and as well, they continue to believe that there are people that they can reach, getting through the crevices, pushing through walls, removing debris safely with the advice of our structural engineers. And so we stand with them to get this job done. So to the families who are waiting for news of their loved ones, we are giving them twice daily briefings with details of exactly how the search is being conducted. We are providing for their living and hotels, their meals. They're with chaplains. Many are celebrating the Jewish Sabbath right now at sundown. And we know that they are feeling very, very concerned, of course, anxious and wondering, but we are telling them that we are here working, praying, and really still hopeful that we will find more of their loved ones. Unfortunately, the numbers are the same that they were this morning. We have not found anybody else in today's search, but through the night we will continue, and God willing, there will be some good news later tonight or in the morning, and we'll be back. We have created a village here, a village of media, people all across the world watching, waiting, caring, donating. The world is watching and the world is caring what happens right here in Surfside in Miami-Dade County. We are so grateful for the support of our cities, of our state, of our federal government. FEMA has come to the rescue. We're going to have more resources to pay for this expensive search and rescue and to give us access to more teams for the rescue, later for the clearance of the rubble, and for the assistance for the families as they put their lives back together. So we're here, we'll continue, and please stand by us. Stand by us as we stand by the families. Thank you. Ay, en español. Aquí estamos.
So the theme of the evening, the mayor coming out, first words out of her mouth, they're hopeful. They have hope. The search teams are going to continue doing their work, but sadly so far the numbers have not moved the needle at all in any direction.
Which at last report was at least 4 dead and 159 people unaccounted for. And we'd remind you, unaccounted for doesn't mean to suggest that there are 159 people who were there. It's to suggest that they've compiled a list of people who might have been there, but perhaps they were there, but then they're on vacation somewhere, or they're another, and they're trying to sort that out. So they've generated that list, but it's not 159 people who were there. It's unaccounted for. They might have been there, perhaps not. They're still trying to sort that out.
A lot of people in that building are part-time residents. They don't live there full-time, and although the city officials, the county officials are asking everyone to dial into that phone number to sort of say, hey, this is my unit, I wasn't there, and let the authorities know that they're okay. Sometimes people just aren't that into the news, maybe don't know that they're supposed to do that, are unaware, are traveling. It is summer. perhaps that's what's happening, but that is what unaccounted for doesn't necessarily mean that they're all buried under the rubble waiting for rescue.
And there's been no change in the designation of the work. It is still being considered a search and rescue mission. There were some accounts that I read that there's a belief that, you know, if you know, for the sake of hope, that it would be possible for, if someone were in a pocket of the debris there, that they could survive for up to 72 hours. So the work continues with the hope that they might find survivors.
Let's listen in. It looks like maybe they will go back to English.
I'd like to call up to the podium Miami-Dade Fire Chief Alan Kaminsky.
Good evening. We continue our search and rescue operations, so we'll continue throughout the night. This operational period, we're continuing with our strategy based on anything that new pops up. So we're using our equipment still with our dogs searching, seeing if we have any marks, as well as our sonar equipment, as well as video camera. Operation, we're still focusing underneath, trenching and shoring and looking at different aspects, as well as on top we're looking at delayering certain areas, certain components, and just seeing how we can gain access. We're giving 110%. We have multiple units on scene that we're rotating through, and we're going to continue our process.
Thank you, Chief. And for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Spanish translation, we have Erica Benitez.
Okay, so we're going back and forth, English, Spanish, English, Spanish. We heard from the chief again that they're giving it their all, as they have been since this happened, using everything, all the technology that is at the ready for these urban search and rescue teams, the sonar, the heavy equipment, the microphones. We've seen the dogs out there. They work in the quadrant. They focus on one area, go through, see what they find, see if there's anything that they can hear. If the dog gets a hit, if you will, they focus on that part for a while. And just because you don't see them all day long doesn't mean that they're not underground, above the rubble, under the rubble. They are doing everything in their power to find some survivors in this rubble.
And with the numbers of people that have been brought in from elsewhere in the state, they are working 24 hours, 12-hour shifts. So it's a constant effort, this massive operation to cover a good deal of turf, and obviously under challenging conditions. And the weather has not been cooperative today at times, and just the nature of the way the building fell. It's a major.
The Miami-Dade Police Department, Freddie Ramirez. Good evening. The Miami-Dade Police Department will continue supporting the fire rescue operations. We're also helping at the Family Reunification Center as well. You know, there's a lot of pain, a lot of suffering there, and we pray for the families and those that we've lost. You will also notice some traffic pattern changes. Those changes are happening due to operational necessity. As equipment starts to come in, we need to provide a safe environment.
Okay, so that's the Miami-Dade County Police Director, Freddie Ramirez, there, again, providing what they can for the rescue efforts there. And really the biggest thing in the area, obviously, besides the obvious rescue operation that's taking place, is the traffic and how it's impacting that area that's already on a good day busy. It's Collins Avenue to the north, Harding to the south. Many roads are closed, and it's going to get complicated.
I think they're going to take some questions here, so I believe we'll join them again.
Can I ask a question to the Chief? So, Director Ramirez says that they've changed the traffic patterns because of new equipment. You're shutting down Harding media because of equipment. Can you walk us through what equipment is coming in tonight and why it wasn't here already? Why you need it now and not?
Well, yeah, there's multiple heavy equipment, cranes that we're bringing in, different larger pieces of equipment to help remove the debris. This is a very strategic, methodical process. You know, again, with this search, with this type of collapse, it's extremely difficult. And so again, what we're looking for is areas of voids, possible patient survivability, and that's where we're focusing. As this equipment comes in, we'll use it to assist to move certain pieces of debris. We can't just move it all at one time. It has to be very slow processes where we're digging through, searching, shoring up certain areas, other aspects. So that's why. I mean, it doesn't come in right away. It comes in as we're going through, but, you know, we're also having that equipment, you know, it's en route.
So we should see that tonight in use, those cranes?
I know one is being set up, so yes, we should see one. And again, I wouldn't say in use because we just have to see with our search groups and exactly what we're looking. But that asset will be there, so when, you know, we feel this is the time to use it here, then that's how we'll deploy it.
Thank you, sir.
Lobos from Cielo Televisa, Mexico. I'll answer in English, and if you want to answer in English and Spanish, that's fine with you, Mayor. There was reports that the Mexican search and rescue team, Los Topos, that were interested in coming here to help and provide help. Are they here? Will they be here? Are you guys considering using them? And if I can get a follow-up after the chief answers, you say that you have hope that you'll find people alive. What tangible, I don't want to say evidence, but what tangible reason you have based to have hope still after over 36 hours?
Yes. So we've received offers of help, and we've accepted them, and I'm going to let the chief explain.
Yes, so we currently have 4 task force that are operating. Florida Task Force 1, which consists of Miami-Dade Fire Rescue frontline firefighters, as well as 3 other task force from within the state that are here. We did utilize as well task force members from Mexico that are here, so we kind of incorporated them or injected them with our current task force as we go out, and with search groups, so we utilize them in different capacities.
So they're here now. They're already on the...
Yes, sir. They're here and they're assisting with our task force that we go out. Based on the members, we put them with other search and rescue groups, and then that's how we deploy them during their working group, their working operation.
When did they arrive?
They came here mid-morning is when they arrived, and we deployed them at 12 o'clock. Our operational periods are 12 hours, so right now we're going from 12 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight, and then we rotate the next search and rescue crews going through. So we inject it, and then yes, there's also members from an Israel team as well that we also are injecting. So I don't have the exact number of staff or personnel that we're utilizing, but we are deploying them with our current search and rescue operations.
So it's just Israel and Mexico?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would like to clarify that there's only a certain number of people that we can put out there, and so it isn't that we're putting out more people, it's that we're rotating them. So just to be very, very clear, we can't have people swarming all over this rubble. It has to be very, very carefully determined, and we are using the same numbers as we go forward.
Hi, Wendy Rhodes with USA Today. There's still a lot of concern that whether or not the building is stable, what's still remaining standing is stable, if it's a danger of falling on first responders. Can somebody talk about the stability of the building?
So we have structural engineers that are on site, and they're evaluating everything around because, of course, our greatest asset are our search and rescue team, our firefighters. So they cannot be taking undue risks, and part of that is evaluating the building structure as well. So if there were concern that the building was unstable, that would affect the search, but they are continuing the search at this time. Okay.
Go ahead.
Mayor, I have a question. Normally when this kind of tragedy happens, there is a pattern of like going from phase 1 to phase 2. How many hours does it normally take, and what's the next step? I mean, will you continue on the same thing of the search and rescue for tomorrow?
Yes. So we're on search and rescue. Full speed ahead on search and rescue. And you ask, why do we have hope? We have hope because that's what our search and rescue team tells us, that they have hope. They see opportunities. They see fissures that they could go in. They see places that they could break through. And as long as they can do that, and as long as they have encouraging signs like the knocking sound that they've heard, then we will continue. People have been discovered in rubble over a week beyond the date of incident. And so they have experienced that. They've been in places where they've rescued people in that period of time. And so that is why we are continuing our search and rescue.
One last question. Go ahead.
Yes,
I'll get you one.
Yeah, Brian Nelson, NBC6 News. Question for the fire chief. Earlier this evening, we saw a lot of smoke coming from the building. Could you maybe just explain why exactly we're seeing that? Does that impact the search and rescue effort?
Yes, it absolutely does. I mean, there's so many hazards we're encountering, and the fire just compounds it. The fire is deeply seated, deeply rooted under the structure. So you've seen it in and out, and unfortunately we keep having flare-ups of it, and it's just not accessible. So those are the difficulties. That's another challenge that we're encountering, and you know, we're constantly going in aggressively, trying to get as close as we can to extinguish that fire, but unfortunately we haven't been able to get that extinguished 100% yet.
What's burning?
Those materials is unknown. I mean, yeah, we can't see exactly what's there, so I don't know what products are.
The fire is so deeply seated in the rubble. You would approximate how hot the rubble is. Is it an area that's possible?
That area would be difficult. I mean, depending on the fire, what's there, yes. I mean, absolutely a challenge. No, you know, I'm not able to distinguish what the temperature is. It's just that it's so, you know, so deeply seated. That's the challenge there. We can't get the water, you know, right on the fire, which is what we need in that circumstance.
But in other words, it's a localized area that's on fire that you can't reach, or is it multiple?
We believe so. I mean, we believe from where we're at, it's localized to a certain area. You know, but we can't pinpoint exactly where it is because, you know, the location, we, you know, unable to access it and see it.
And last question right here.
Fire chief, is there, the crews were spending a lot of time in one particular part of the debris field on like the northeast side. Is there anything you can give us with respect to details that they heard or saw that led them to focus that, and then what the outcome of that was?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, this is going to be constantly evolving, you know, with our searches. So any glimpse of hopes that we have, any signals that we see, that's where we want to primary focus. This is where we've been focusing for immediately with the operation, looking for those voids. What we're seeing on the outside is, you know, just strategically we're starting to expand our search patterns and what we're looking for within the pattern. So that's why you're seeing us spread out in specific areas to do searches there.
There was nothing specific that caught your attention there or your attention?
No, I mean, unfortunately, nothing specific. You know, we're still doing our sonars, we're still doing our cameras, still using the dogs. You know, sometimes if the dogs do pick up a scent, we might focus more on that area, but nothing specific.
Not a question, just a request. If you guys can find an alternative spot for the press to kind of point cameras
Yes,
on.
Carlos. That's Carlos. They're asking about an alternative site for the press. Did you have something more to say about that?
Mayor, can I ask one more question about the people that are unaccounted for? And can you explain how, excuse me, Mayor, can you explain how of the 159, how you're trying to, through the process of elimination, take some names off that list of people who might not have been in the building?
Correct. Go ahead, Director.
Yes. We have a running list at the Family Unification Center. We're working with our 311 and also working with the families that are there, and that's how we start deducting from the list or adding from the information that we're getting from the family, from 311, from the roster of those that own the building. Also, people rented there too, so there's a lot of that as well, that ambiguity of who was renting at what time, and that's how we're running the list.
Carlos Rosario, Lieutenant with the Miami-Dade Police Department. Someone had a question regarding the locations for the press. So first I want to start off by saying that we thank all of you for being here and telling the story. This is very important for the entire community, and it really helps us tremendously in doing the fine work that we're trying to do. We talk about you every time we have our meetings and understand that you want to be in locations that you want to tell the story and be able to tell not only through your words but through your cameras. There is some areas, for example, there was an area that we were set up earlier at that I talked to many of you, where this is an area that, as you know, there's large vehicles, machinery, large fire trucks that are trying to get through and they just couldn't. And we can't lose focus of what's really important here, and that's for our first responders to do their job. We are going to be looking for other options and other alternatives to be able to make it more comfortable for you guys. So we're going to continue to do that. The options are limited because we don't want to have you too far. As it is, the location we're at right now is pretty close. You're not at the angle from the side of the collapse. However, you have to understand the reasons why. We were there for a little while, and it just got to the point where our rescue personnel and our first responders need the space to work.
Even from the beach, sir. Even from the beach, the access is getting limited. There's no trucks on the beach.
Well, we have to discuss that because there's a lot of factors that come in. There's a lot of press here. This is not 1 or 2 cameras. There's hundreds of cameras here. But we are with you. We're not against you. We're definitely going to look at every option and just follow us too on our social media channels for any further instruction. Okay? Thank you very much.